Thiessen, columnist, Washington Post, Fox News contributor, resident fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. How you doing, Mark? And good Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you.
I just want to add, I'm not going to make that statement quite yet as how the president finishes the comment. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think he's right not to make that statement yet, though he sort of did, because I think he's very smart, would be very smart not to prejudge the investigation into the investigation. Attorney General Barr has appointed a skilled prosecutor, John Durham, who's the U.S. attorney in the state of Connecticut, who's going to be looking into all these things. He's going to be interviewing Obama administration officials. He's going to be interviewing FBI and CIA people. He's been given, Barr has been given authority to declassify information. So there's going to be a very thorough investigation into this, and Trump would be wise to just wait and let that investigation play out.
You point out a Harvard poll, okay? In that poll, 55% say they think there was bias against President Trump and the FBI played in launching investigations against him. In that poll, you point out 61% favor appointing a special counsel. The approval rating in RCP for the president is 44%, considerably lower. So tie all those numbers together and tell us what's important to understand that.
Well, what that means is people can see what's right in front of them, which is there is an enormous bias against President Trump, and they want to know why, after, you know, if you think about what's happened, what they've seen over the last 2 years, they've been told that the president committed treason. They've been told by former CIA officials like John Brennan, by the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee and members of the Senate Intelligence Committee. They committed treason, that he was a Russian agent, that he had conspired with Russia to undermine our democracy. And Americans took those charges very seriously, because they're serious things if they were true. If our president had done those things, it turned out none of them were true. It was all a lie. And so Americans want to know, why were we lied to? How did our government get to the point where we spent $30 million and 2 years investigating what ended up being a conspiracy theory? And it's not just Trump supporters. As you point out in those polls, that 61% want to appoint a special prosecutor, which is essentially what Barr has done. He's appointed a U.S. attorney. Trump's approval is only 44%, so that means there are significant millions of Americans who don't necessarily approve of Donald Trump, but also don't approve of this investigation and the fact that they were lied to for 2 years and want to get to the bottom of it, and rightly so.
Just put an emphasis on that last point. You're right about that. They were told one thing for 2 years, and the Mueller report found no collusion.
Nope, they found no collusion. And this is actually an interesting thing. In his interview with Stephanopoulos, Trump said no collusion. And Stephanopoulos interjected and said he didn't say that. He said there was insufficient evidence. I went back to look at the Mueller report this morning, and the words insufficient evidence don't appear anywhere with regard to Russia. It just doesn't, it's not there. There's one instance where it said regarding Attorney General Sessions whether he was truthful in his interview. But that's not what it said. The report said, quote, the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities, period. Now, if you want to say insufficient evidence, fine. 19 lawyers, 40 FBI agents, 2,800 subpoenas, 500 search warrants, 230 orders of communication records, 500 witnesses. If you can't get sufficient evidence after all of that, then that means that you've been cleared. And the president has been cleared of collusion or conspiracy with Russia, and the media have to stop perpetuating this conspiracy theory that something happened that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think that conspired or coordinated line was on page 1 of the Mueller report.
Yeah.
I do believe.
Yeah, you don't even have to read deeply into it.
Thank you, Mark. We'll talk later in the week. Marc Thiessen there.
Take care.
In Washington.